I was in the hospital, again, my nurses, again, the respiratory therapist, occupational therapist, physical therapist, respiratory therapist, the techs, the nurses, again, my only experience is at Carroll Hospital, but I mean, I know it's everywhere, and I talk to those, whenever every time they would come in my room, I would thank them. They would draw blood, I would thank them because they would try not to take all the hair off my arm, and every time I'd like thank them, and they're like, "Why? We signed up for this." I'm like, "No, you didn't sign up for this. You signed up to care for people. You didn't sign up for this. This is dangerous. This is not fun." And so I told myself I've got to do something because they gave me a second chance. So I told myself I have to do something for them. So while I was still in the hospital, I talked to my sister because I was like, let me back up. So the day when they finally moved me up to the 4th floor. I'm still in isolation, door's still closed. And one day, one of the nurses came in and she left my door open. And I said, "You forgot to close my door." She said, "Oh yeah, I forgot." And she goes back and she rips my COVID sign off the door. And I'm like, "Are you serious?" She goes, "Yep, door can stay open." And I could actually see people's legs out there. I couldn't see a full body, just the way my angle, but I could actually see people out in the hallway. I was so excited. But I mean, just the care that I gave. So I told myself, I got to do something. So I talked to my sister Lisa about it. I'm like, you know what I got to do? So I came up with an idea of a GoFundMe. And of course I had my phone and I actually created the GoFundMe on my phone. And while I was in the hospital in 6 days, I raised $12,000. And I told myself I'm going to use every single penny to do something nice for them because they're overworked, they're understaffed, they're stressed. They're miserable. I mean, but yet, you know what? They don't complain. They do what they're supposed to do, and they don't have a choice. But it's their commitment to every single one of their patients. So I used that money, and when I finally got out, and I felt like I was capable of going in to see them. I had my oxygen tanks, I call it my iron lung, on my little cart, and away we went. But I did, because I wanted to make sure I got all of them. So I did the respiratory therapist where I did Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday to make sure that I got all the shifts. I did lunch and dinner for them each one of those days. And then from there, I did the CCU and the IMC, which is basically ICU, the intermediate care. And I made sure that I got everyone. And you would not believe how something so simple made the world to them. They were so tickled. When I walked into the CCU and actually seeing it from just a bystander's point of view is scary. Walking past all those isolation rooms and seeing those people in there and knowing what that's like. And these nurses and these techs and these doctors deal with it day in, day out, every day. They go in there and nothing changes. Every bed is full. And so for them to actually see me, I mean, they cried so hard. They're like, "We never see this. We never know what happens to you after you leave us. And here you are walking in here." And so I actually became friends with them on Facebook. And it's so funny, they post stuff, and I just posted, I said something to one this morning about how they just said that the CDC that says now you're allowed to drink on the job. And I that's one of those, and I said, "I'll bring it in for you." And she replied, "I know you would," But I raised all this money, and like my shirt, this is, so once again, as far as face down, which is called proning, this is what I did, basically saved my life, So we had shirts made for the respiratory therapist department, and of course some of that money paid for these shirts, so they saved me one. It's my favorite shirt.